Hello, and welcome to another episode of NOGcast, episode 13 to be specific. I'm your host, Julian, along with the others. I feel like I'm introducing this episode a little too formally. It's been a long time since the last time we did an episode. It's been like a month? I don't know. It's been a long time. Let me get the others in here really fast. What's up?
Hey.
Hello.
It's sound alerts.
Sound alerts might be broken, but I don't care. Anyway, yes, it is a NOGcast episode 13 with me, Julian, Angela.
I no longer have a body.
That's nice to know. Shawnee and Micah. All four of us have come back. Today's topic is technically about TV shows, but I'm going to open it up first with saying the last 30 minutes leading up to 6 o'clock, which is when we start streaming this, they were paying for me, okay? Look. Oh my god. So, look, I played Elden Ring for a little bit, like a whole hour leading up to I was like, oh, I'm gonna join the VC early. I see Mike is in there. Go say hi, chill out for a bit, 30 minutes ahead of time. And after I was feeling good because I beat a boss I was stuck on, leveled up a bunch. I can use a sword that I was waiting to use now. Made it, turned off the game. I didn't turn off the game. I paused the game. To go into my room, I think, to go find this classic Nog shirt to wear on today's stream. And then one of my
all your progress.
No, I didn't. No, it wasn't related to that.
Okay, that's good.
put in some wireless earbuds to walk into my room. One of them falls off, hits the sandal I'm wearing, and then bounces into fucking Narnia. Just I was like,
are we past the first minute? Hell yeah.
It was just farewell, my people need me.
Yeah,
I must go.
I'll censor myself. Well, actually, you know what? I don't think that deserves to be censored. I'm upset about it. All right, look, I dropped my earbud. Dropping a wireless earbud feels like garbage. Okay, because you're okay. If it disappears, you're I need that because I have one, and that's not how earbuds work. I spent literally almost 20 minutes looking for this earbud. Okay.
Did you find it?
Yes. Literally 3 minutes before 6, I found it.
Well, that's good.
My parents called me at 5:50 going hey, we'll need help with groceries, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, that's why you were gone straight up.
Yeah,
because I noticed he joined.
I joined and
he was
muted for that. Yeah. I did, yeah, because I was shoot, I have to find this earbud. And my strategy for finding it was playing a song from Spotify on my phone, turning it to max volume, and listening, and that did help me. But it was under my bed in the middle of the floor under my bed, so I had to grab something to reach under because I have long arms, but it wasn't gonna happen.
How big's your bed? Jesus.
Yeah, no, I have a pretty large bed. I forget.
Money bags over here, G.
Yeah, what the
I don't have
fuck?
a fucking king size bed or anything.
You got a king size?
No.
And what type of arms do you got where you can't reach the middle of it?
I have God, I'd have to show you a picture of my bed, which I don't have.
Julian's bed is built different.
I have
It's just built long way. There's no
I have a twin size bed, but it's it's big. Okay, it's a big bed.
Twin size stacked together.
It's
no, it's wide, but it's not long.
It's the chode of twin size beds.
Also, it's pressed up against the wall, so if it goes past a certain point, I will not be able to reach it from the other side. I mean, but
Julian out here sleeping on a couch, but not lengthwise.
Man rolls over and smacks his face against the wall. Just poof.
I'm just saying. Look, I was sneezing a bunch. Like the dust messes with me very much. So like I shoved my face on the ground to find this earbud to listen, and then I also had to reach under my fucking dusty ass bed. I was just like, it was pain. It was pain for a while, but hey, I'm doing okay now. I made it to NOGcast. I have a little bit of a headache after like ducking and standing up so much in my room, but hey, and inhaling dust, but. And then I had to pick up like a big case of water for my parents, and that didn't help a little bit.
I like
straining a little bit. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here now, and we're talking about TV shows today. And all I'm saying is, of my life, where a TV show would be a sitcom. Because that's
you like drop you drop the earbud, and then the laugh track plays.
The laugh track plays while like someone like I'm like bent over like and someone walks into the room like whoa just like ass facing the door,
and then you nearly reach the earbud, and your parents downstairs like, Julian, can you help us with this?
I like stand up, hurt my back, and I'm like, nah. My mom did straight up call me while I was like bent over looking around for this earbud. I had like my flashlight on my phone, like, where the hell are you? Like I'm looking for a ghost. I'm looking for Sasquatch in the woods. Like, where are you?
Give us a sign.
Give us a sign.
Yeah, that
Are you out there?
That sucked. But hey, we can bring up what makes a good TV show in your eyes. Well, actually, I should ask first. Like, do you have a favorite TV show?
You already know.
Is it like a real favorite, or is it like a?
Okay, like I will say.
A good question.
Like yeah, Supernatural has its faults, but I have to say it's my favorite TV show. Nothing else like really comes close. I'd say like the next closest favorite would probably be like Green Lantern, the animated series. That was really good. Yeah, I'd say those two are probably my favorites.
Okay, Shawnee, you have any strong opinion on this?
Yeah, Supernatural's up there for me because it was a very important show for me.
Yeah.
In my earlier years. But in terms of like the TV show that I like the most, I think Star Trek Deep Space Nine is probably up there.
That makes sense.
Call me a nerd, but I love all the Star Trek series, and Deep Space Nine especially is fantastic.
I mean, liking Star Trek does automatically make you a nerd because it's less normie than Star Wars. So you can like Star Wars and not be a nerd at this point, but you can't like Star Trek and not be a nerd.
What can I say? It's good content.
Fair enough. From what I've seen, I enjoyed it. So, and Micah, you have a favorite TV show?
Fuck, that's a great question, isn't it? I mean,
I don't watch TV
count? Much. That depends, because it's like there are like even then there are like periods of wrestling where I'm like, fuck, why do I watch this?
Well, there are like
and I just cut it off. I can like name like. I mean, yeah, there are episodes, but it's like hard to say. Like,
there are plot lines. That is why I was like,
that's WWE plot lines. I fucking There was a time where I watched WWE for like one or two specific people. The rest of it did not give a single flying fuck.
That is a really good question though. Like, does wrestling count as a TV show?
Like, okay, it's not like football or something because there's no plot line. There's no like characters. It's like just the sport. But like wrestling has characters. It has plot lines. Like
yeah, so it's like
it has like season arcs.
Yeah, it is like everything cultivates at WrestleMania in WWE, and then immediately after the Raw after WrestleMania is just the season reset. So yeah, it's a constant go.
I feel like that.
I would count it.
I feel like I would count it. Yeah, totally.
It's an unconventional TV show, but I'd count it as a TV show.
Yeah, I feel like that can count.
See, it's like I've been. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say we gave you an excuse to say wrestling.
Yeah, I appreciate. It's like I've been watching a lot of Ring of Honor from like 2016 to 2018. I really like that period. The same with like New Japan, AEW right now from I don't want to say early beginning of 2020 to now. Just fucking great. But it's just like periods of wrestling where I'm like, yeah, this is really good. I'll like still keep up with Raw and SmackDown from WWE, but it's like I don't ever like watch it live. If there's something important that I need to like look at, I might catch a clip. But like I've tried to watch WWE live nowadays, and there was, to tell you how bad it is right now. There was a time, like not even like storylines, which are its own separate thing. The camera cuts, man. There was a 18-second segment where there was 14 individual camera cuts.
So you got the Taken treatment with Liam Neeson like jumping over the fence.
Yeah, kind of true. Actually, that's fair.
Bro, there was not a wrestling match on this last SmackDown apparently for like the first 26 minutes. I'm like, bruh, like I need wrestling on my wrestling show, but it is what it is.
That's funny. I don't have a favorite. All right, moving on.
Totally okay.
I'm not gonna say Code Lyoko. Right?
No, I'm saying for me, Code Lyoko's favorite.
Oh, like if you had to pick. Okay, well, that's fair enough. I see. Like I have a hard time choosing because there are a lot that I put on the same level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So that's why I can't really. I have fond memories of many. That's why I'm like I don't know if I can pick a favorite.
I remember the
I
Blue
feel like
Beetle.
it's the same for me.
Well, you already picked Supernatural. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, I'm saying like it's like very similar. Like picking two was really hard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pick one. I don't think there are a lot that I like, like a bunch that I like. So
Original Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is a lot of my like favorite shows. I feel like I'd have to rewatch parts of, and like I haven't gone back and rewatched a lot of the shows I enjoyed a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
I have recently been watching the new Adventure Time show on HBO Max though, so hey. Maybe that counts, I don't know. It does have the same energy, so I mean that show is pretty good, honestly. Really weird though. In terms of how it's structured, every episode is like 49 minutes and each follows a different character or set of characters. Which
so each is like a
feels
an hour
weird.
long segment.
Yeah, basically. Like the first one's about BMO. Second one's about Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. Third one's about Finn and Jake. The fourth one's about, I'm pretty sure, Abracadaniel, which is such a random character in the show.
It's like more like an anthology rather than like a single story.
I will say the one with Finn and Jake did make me tear up almost. Like almost did. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. But and the one with Marceline and Princess Bubblegum was cute. But yeah, and the one with BMO was just fun, you know? Like it's just like
you're like it's just BMO, whatever.
It's just BMO. No, BMO's cool. It's just fun. BMO's just fun, alright? Like BMO doesn't have to be deep.
He's just a cool character. He doesn't have to be a deep
just
character.
a fun character, yeah. BMO literally, like, the character BMO just don't take anything seriously. Like, so it's fine. It's whatever. And so, yeah, I've been enjoying that. Watch Smiling Friends on there too. That was something special. I liked it, but it's adult cartoon as fuck. If you don't like dark humor, don't watch it. That's all I'm gonna say.
What show is that again? I don't recognize it.
It's an Adult Swim show. It's a new one on HBO Max. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and that's why I watched it. But I actually did really like it. But yeah, it's just a parody of adult cartoons, basically. But it does it in a way that's more fun, I think. But yeah, that goes into my next question. What do you think makes a good show?
Like
I'd
say like
this is completely
like subjective. Like I'd say for me like plot is very, very important. Like having like a really good plot.
Supernatural, what the fuck?
It was good at the beginning, and then I was too invested to stop.
Gotta rest, Jesus Christ!
I agree with that. The first 5 seasons of Supernatural has a pretty tight plot line, and then
at that point it was sunk cost fallacy. I was like, I've been watching for too many. and then you get sad because you see moments of greatness in every single season, but then 99% of it is just trash.
Yeah, yes. I mean, honestly, after
Um,
you reach that many seasons, you are gonna dip. That's how it is, honestly.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I'd say like plot's really important to me, and then like something else that's also really important is like good characters and like good relationships between them. I'd
That's
say
true.
that
That's
like
fair.
that's probably the biggest like
Yeah.
strength that Supernatural had. Was like the characters were really good.
That is
Yeah.
true, regardless of how it's kind of like. I mean, I'll compare to this, even though they're very different. Uh, like how I feel about like Dragon Ball. All right, later on, there's really dumb shit that happens, but like I love how characters interact with each other, how the world is. I still have fun regardless of things being
Of stuff
a
being
little
dumb,
bad.
yeah.
Because Dragon Ball Super is mediocre, all right, but like I enjoy a lot of parts of it because it has a lot of good ideas, and so I stick around for that.
Favorite thing is
Yeah, and like yeah, so I'd say that's primarily why I kept watching Supernatural was the characters were really good despite like
Mm.
the plot lines taking like a really big hit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they had a lot of really good ideas that they never like capitalized on. So for like a writer, that's like it's free real estate.
Fair. uh, Micah, were you saying something earlier?
Dragon Ball. One of my favorite things about one of my favorite moments in Dragon Ball, just like a completely off, like not offspring, but like just a completely like hidden down moment was when Goku tried beer for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, that was a thing.
Like, epic. That was just a really fun character moment of just, oh, what's this? Blah blah blah. Ah!
I will say a show that did affect me the most in my life was Dragon Ball Z. I will probably say that because that is probably the most accurate thing I could say. Um,
Fair, honestly.
what makes a good show to you, Micah? Since you were just talking,
What the fuck?
surprise.
Well, like this is skewed. Most good characters.
Okay.
Really good relatable characters, not even sometimes relatable, but just like really fun characters that I could like look to and be like, he's cool, or boo, he's bad. Because like, of course, wrestling has shaped my ideas on like certain character beats, certain story plot lines, certain stuff like that. So it's like when I look at a good show, I just try to see like, is there week to week progression that makes sense? Does things follow in a way that would logically progress, fitting that character? Do characters grow in meaningful ways after an experience has happened to them? All the simple stuff that you would expect from a normal show that I sometimes don't get from certain products.
Yeah.
Because people,
Not naming any names.
not naming any companies, but sometimes like characters just don't progress how you would expect them to. But it is what it is. Sometimes the logical booking is the best booking, but swerves and all that stuff. But just
Yeah.
really fun characters. Like one of my favorite wrestlers is Jeff Hardy, and he's one of my favorites because as a character, I saw him as a child, and I was like, that dude is cool. He comes out to thumping music. He's always dancing and shit. He's he's one of the ones that flies off the top row. His finishing moves a swanton bomb. He's this really cool dude. And some of his storylines were always the best. He had a really good one with CM Punk where they explore some of his real life struggles, and then he got fired for those real life struggles later on. But we don't talk about those type of things. That's a whole different conversation we can have. But it's like just character beats and stories and stuff like that are what's important.
Character growth is very important for any story in general. That's why I like certain video games a lot, because it feels cool to have characters that grow over the course of the game you're playing. Video games are different though, because you don't need a character that grows necessarily for a good game. But yeah, Shawnee, what do you see as a really good show?
Yeah, I mean, just to echo, the whole like characters are really important to a media. Like if the plot line is not great, the characters can still save the show.
Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Always goes back.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely like the way that characters interact with one another and how they grow over time is something that I find really interesting.
Yeah.
Just to like bring back the example
It's
of like
a
Star
character
Trek.
study thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the things that I love most about Star Trek Deep Space Nine is that you have this really diverse cast of characters, and you just see how they grow over the course of 7 seasons. And it's just really fantastic the way that they do that.
I mean, we've talked about like Futurama at some point too, and even that
Yes.
show does things like that too. Like it's,
Yeah,
it's
honestly.
really weird. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
Just
adult
character
cartoons kind
development's
of
great.
moved away from that though, sadly. But
Yeah.
I do love that a lot.
Character growth is good.
This is all because of Family Guy. I swear to God, dude. They're just like, hey, let's fuck around and do like skits all the time that and pretend like we have a story that continues. It's not the case at all.
I know, sad times.
Oh my God. But hey, what
Yeah,
can
I
you
guess
do?
one other thing that I think is important in TV shows is like the overall plot line. I like it when there's like a really big plot line over the course of like a full season or something like
That
that.
is
That kind
true.
of ties everything together. But I also like it when each episode has, this is personal preference really, but when each separate episode has like its own enclosed plot line as well, that adds to the overall overarching story.
That's
If that makes
true.
sense?
Yeah.
So like small separate episodes with adding together. I don't know.
I feel like I kind of treat like D&D like that in a way. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird to say that, but kind of.
Yeah. Like each session has like its own plot
Yeah.
that gets resolved by the end of it or after, a few sessions, and then it overall adds to a larger story.
I mean,
and I just think that's really good.
I even joke around with like a friend and call like certain episodes of D&D campaigns like filler episodes, you know? Like, it's like, just use a TV term for it because it feels
Yeah.
like it, you know? Honestly.
And really, like if the party decides that they just want to go shopping, like that's a filler episode.
Yeah, it is. It can be a fun one if everyone interact, like the character interaction in that
Exactly.
way too, like super fun. But now this leads into the next question I'll pose to everyone, because I don't need to say anything about what makes a good show. I agree with all of you. You know, you all just hit something and I'm like, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think, I'll lean into, as someone, I know that there are people out there who don't like cartoons or whatever, but I like, in terms of cartoons, I'll specify like a good art direction too, because there are some cartoons that might be cool but have terrible art direction, and I'm just like, I can't get into that because it's terrible. All right, anime included. Just saying. Interesting character design makes it for those. All right, that's how it is. What makes a bad show? And we could talk about this together if you want.
Plot holes.
Plot holes is a big
Yeah,
one.
plot holes is a big one.
Also
Illogical
something I
story
avoid in
beats.
D&D as
Convoluted
well.
plot. Yeah. It's something, it's like, if I can't really engage with the plot, like it just doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah.
I'm not really going to enjoy it, you know?
Something we've talked about extensively, fan service at the expense of plot, which creates a
Yeah.
plot hole I dislike. If there's any moment where like my brain clicks on and it messes with like the entire thing, I'm just like, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
it's, no. Because there's only so far I can keep my brain off in certain scenarios. So,
In wrestling, we call that hot shot booking.
hey.
I'd say like one of my pet peeves, like for TV shows, is when they get like too sanctimonious. Like when they start like talking about like societal issues,
Yeah.
and then like it all gets fixed and wrapped up in a neat little bow because the characters
Yeah.
are good and they fixed racism. It's like-
Yeah, that's a little,
I feel like things that get like thrown into stories that don't quite make sense just so it can relate to the viewer feels weird too. Like when COVID was fresher in the world, there were a lot of shows that were just like, let's make it about like, let's add COVID in here somehow. Even like video games did it. Like goddamn Assassin's Creed Valhalla was like, let's throw in an email about COVID-19 in here. They were just like, why the
Yeah,
fuck?
I remember that.
Why do
Yeah.
you need to throw
Why?
this in? It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I feel like I can see it if it makes sense in the show. Like if it's like a show about like the real
Well, if it's like a
world.
doctor show or something, sure, it could
Yeah,
make
if,
sense.
or if
But
it's
like,
like, because I watch like I watch a lot of like procedurals, and I feel like it
yeah,
makes sense for them to mention it at
it makes
least
sense
because
for them
like
to mention in
yeah.
that case. I mean, they
Um,
mention real world, diseases all the time, so it's kind of like whatever. But
but like if Supernatural was like
no, yeah, that's
COVID, I'd
that's
be
more
like,
so what
what?
I'm talking about. I mean, I feel like my biggest example is Valhalla doing it, because that was a
Yeah.
big game that came out that just mentioned it out of nowhere, and it was just like, what the hell? It was really funny because, like, they have like future tech that their world is fictional, but it's just like, yeah, COVID exists. It's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. It's
You can make this world however you want it, and you want COVID to exist in it. All right, cool, I guess.
it's like if fucking
like-
God of War was just like Kratos is like, boy, we gotta wear masks. Like,
You're about to go into like a shop, and he's like, "Wait, do you have your mask?"
Atreus, mask now. Just like,
Let's try this to mask.
it's, yeah,
Oh my
that's a line I
God.
remember.
I
a
kind
lot.
of want that to be a thing now.
It'd be so weird if that just happened.
Oh God. But like, yeah, with like the sanctimonious stuff, like with the procedurals that I mentioned before, it does happen a lot in those. And I just find myself being like, oh my gosh, like because there'll be like law procedurals, and like it'll be like the FBI super concerned about racism, and I'm like, shut up, you know this doesn't happen.
You know that's
I'm like,
not.
stop
Yeah,
it.
that is.
Like
I mean, even like certain shows that I'm not gonna name any names, but cop shows, kind
yeah,
of,
cop shows do it a lot. Like I watch a
Yeah.
couple, and they'll be like, "We fixed racism because we talked
Yeah,
about it in one episode."
it's like, okay,
And I'm like,
guys,
shut up,
alright.
stop it, stop it.
It feels a little weird, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
feels like so like shoehorned in, and like they're like, "Look, we're good people."
It's
Look, we're
like,
addressing the issues. We
You
have
know,
addressed the issues.
I
The
don't-
issue is closed.
this is related to because I feel like this comes up in not to get political on this podcast. It's not political, but there are definitely plenty of people who like their real life worldview is tied to like this real life events, like this movie. Or like
Oh yeah,
this
like
TV
it's like,
show.
oh, this happened in this
Like
TV
I
show.
legit heard someone earlier go like, Sean Connery is a real like example of masculinity, but it's like the person's talking about the character he plays, like fucking James Bond, who isn't a real character, by the way. And it's like, what the fuck?
or people that'll be like really like horrible shit will be happening like in the world, and on Twitter there's somebody like, this is just like Harry Potter when he I'm
Yeah,
like, read another book,
Yeah.
please.
it's really weird how like I feel like it might be an exclusive American thing, but I'm not sure. There are definitely a lot of people here who just like equate real world things to like fictional things. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
I don't think it's
I feel like
an
I just
American thing.
mostly see that because I live here, but
Yeah, I think it is just that like there's a lot of people that like can't distinguish between fiction and reality.
Yeah.
I mean, we just
It's-
hold
it's
up
rough.
entertainment a lot here, so that might be just
Yeah.
why it's like a bigger thing. But yeah, it's so weird. It's such a weird thing. Yeah. We were talking about what makes a bad show. I will throw out there certain tropes really fuck up a show for me, like the
We've
plot
talked about
line
those,
of
yeah.
like misunderstanding, and it could be
Yeah.
solved if like
Yeah.
one person let the other person talk for literally one more second, or like
Yeah, I remember you and I like complained about that a lot.
I
'cause
hate
I was
it
like, bro, I
so
hate
much.
that.
I hate
It's so
how
annoying.
like children or teenagers are portrayed in a lot of things, because it's like, look, how long has it been since you've been this age? You can't just like portray a fucking teenager correctly, like a normal person. It's
Yeah.
fucking
Or they'll be like
wild.
played by like a 30-year-old, and they're supposed to be in high school.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, bro, yeah, I'm gonna go after school and smoke some weed. You wanna come? Like, It's like, what the fuck, dude? Did you
like,
do
oh
that
my
as a kid?
God.
No, don't do it to other people.
It's like, I have to study for this test. I can't be smoking weed.
Oh yeah, all the teenage girls and shows are just like, oh my god, Jeremy. Like, okay.
Why are you looking at my boyfriend?
It's like, not everyone
shut
acts
up.
like this. There are very like there are cliques, there are groups in like in high schools and like middle schools. Not there. There are many. There's a wide variety of groups. Okay, the nerds are always like getting fucking wedgies and shoved in lockers. I don't like tropes. Like when it's too like stereotypical, I'm like no. And then also like the like we said, the plot tropes of like misunderstanding or like
Keeping secrets is another
keeping
annoying one for
secrets
me.
is it's an annoying one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like irrationally keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Like
Where it's like I was scared to tell you why I had really no reason to be afraid, but like I just am because plot needs to go forward.
Because
Supernatural is really
Wow.
bad about that one. It's so
Yeah.
bad about that one. They'll just keep random ass secrets. It's so
and
bad.
it's so funny because every time they're like, we're never gonna keep secrets from one another
Yeah.
again, and then they do
They
it
immediately
immediately
do.
after.
Oh,
That's actually a thing I don't like. When these kind of things happen and the characters are like, okay, we're never gonna do that again, and then it comes up later on and they do it again. I hate that. It's just like
it
you
is
didn't
really
learn.
stupid. I mean, that
I
goes
guess,
into
like,
your
good
brain
character
cells.
growth, I guess, but
Yeah, definitely character growth.
there
is a
has
big
to
one
be
there.
flaws though, because if they keep learning, then they'll be perfect. That's a made-up argument, but I feel like there are totally people who would say that.
There has to be drama, but we can't think of more drama, so
Well,
let's just do the
it's
same thing
weird 'cause
50 times.
You can't just have
Yeah.
like normal people in your shows. You have to have them be like
Like, actually, like neurotic
really
people that,
awful.
like, do really weird things that don't make any sense.
Like
Gotta
basically
have characters that are awful at communication.
charismatic and abusive is what you have to have a good show. Where I was going with the how kids are portrayed thing was just like the trope of like dumb kid. I don't like either.
Oh, yeah.
Like annoying child or dumb child. I always don't like.
I don't see that as often anymore, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's something that's like done less. I think.
Yeah.
Because there've been good child actors as of the past few years, so people are just like, oh, we can have kids act like normal kids. We don't.
I feel like it's more common in like kid shows.
Yeah.
Probably at this point, yeah.
Like
Probably.
and I'm not talking shows for like little kids. I'm talking like stuff on like Disney Channel to have like the annoying like person character.
Yeah. I feel like dumb kid used to be done more in like all ages things, I guess, but now it's just kind of like, it's whatever. This kind of came out of nowhere in my mind, but like because you brought up kids shows, I was just thinking about this. Like, what is your opinion personally? This is like off topic a little bit on like criticizing like kids shows or movies.
I think it
What
depends
do
on
you
the
mean?
criticism.
Well,
Like-
because there are certain ways where people criticize like kids movies or shows, or like movies that are in shows that are like perceived to be for kids.
Like,
I'm trying to think of an example.
Are you talking about like Turning Red? That's a really recent one that happened.
Yeah,
Where people are
like literally anything Pixar, I feel like counts in this actually.
yeah, because people were like really mad about Turning Red for like a lot of reasons, but they were like, oh, like it portrays like I'm pretty sure she's a teenager. I haven't seen the movie. But like
I think
it was like,
she's
oh,
in school.
it portrays like a 13-year-old, I think,
Yeah, I
as like
believe.
being sexual or like and stuff like that. There are people freaking out because it like discusses like periods and like having your first period and stuff.
That is what
and
the
like
is, yeah.
and she has like a childhood crush on like a boy in a band or something.
Very
And like
topical.
draws him she draws him as like a hot boy and is like ooh, and it's like, and people were like mad because it's like, oh, you're sexualizing children. It's
It's like, bro, it's not like fucking cuties, alright? Calm down.
yeah, and it's like okay, she has a childhood crush. That's
She has a
something that's
crush,
completely
dude.
normal.
You think Pixar, like Disney's gonna fucking do that shit?
Well, and then
to
I think
them?
people were also mad because there's a scene where she like twerks or something, which is like I don't really know how to feel about that, but
Yeah, see,
like
I haven't seen. See, I thought about seeing the movie because I think it's on Disney Plus now. So,
yeah, it
uh,
is. But like I think the context is like her mom is like controlling and she's
yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm a rebel," and like twerks to be like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want, mom." Um, but like it was like the theme is like, oh, accepting yourself and like not like
Yeah.
locking like parts of
The
yourself
thing
away
is,
because it's like
knowing
inappropriate.
like
But, like
Pixar, I'm sure it was like a one-off joke. Like,
no, yeah, it
I'm
was a
not
one-off joke. It
gonna.
was like for a couple
Yeah,
of seconds, I
I would
think,
not
but
assume that it would be a big thing. They're just like, ah, it's
Yeah.
funny. Um, but yeah, it's just people really hating like sexual education or you know,
Even like
talking
mentioning
about
basic
it at
periods,
all.
it's wild.
Yes.
Yeah, I've also seen some of the people going, "Wow, they talk about periods. I can't believe this. Why would they do that?" But like
it's
that's
like
just
that's
something that
not sexual.
It's not even
that is like
inherent.
women
Like,
just
yeah,
experience that,
not
you know?
even
It's just
inherently sexual. Yeah, it's just a
yeah, it's
thing.
just a thing.
Like,
It's just
Like
a thing that happens, like, because
yeah.
like
whether you want it or not, it's happening. It's just it's like
yeah, it's not even like a sexual thing. It's just like, oh yeah, this happens. Like, and I saw like a social media post about like a mom who was watching with her family and her like husband got grossed out about it, and she was like, "We have a
Um,
daughter. This is going to happen to her." Like,
yeah,
it's like stop being grossed out about it. Like, what do you
yeah.
mean?
it's fucking wild, dude.
Um,
Grow up,
but
dude.
yeah.
Do you have to hit like fucking 90 before you're mature enough to handle talking about this? Jesus. Oh
That's
my
why
god.
like with
Well,
criticism
it's like
regarding oh sorry, go ahead, Angela.
oh yeah, like the stuff about like periods, it's like it was like it was like taboo to talk about it like
Yeah.
in like our parents' generations and things like
Mm.
that. But
We
like
have to
I feel
guard
like it's getting
girls,
like
you know, is how it is.
it's thankfully getting like less like ew, that's gross, like and more like it's just a bodily function that happens.
Yeah.
So
About
like
time, dude. I swear to God.
yeah, but it took like forever. It's like
Yeah.
geez,
Yeah,
Jesus.
fully.
like but yeah, that's all that I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I guess in that
Jesus.
same vein, like when it comes to criticizing like like movies and stuff like that, especially aimed towards children,
Mhm.
um, I find that like there's a lot of criticisms out there that are like, ooh, it talks about periods or stuff like that. When I don't know, like that kind of stuff, I feel like shouldn't be criticized. Like maybe the way
Yeah.
that it's handled, perhaps
Yeah,
if it's
maybe
like
the way the
depicted in a
message
harmful
is
way.
handled. That is true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I just like clutching your pearls over something.
That was actually something I really liked about the movie Soul, which is another Pixar movie. Is
What is
it
that?
covers death. Like
Oh,
and like having a purpose in life and like the meaning of life. It's actually a really good movie. I would love to have a watch together with us on it, honestly, because I watched it with my parents and I thought it was pretty good the first time watching it.
nice.
It took me like a second to like grasp what the movie was going for, but it is honestly extremely powerful for like a kids movie, you know. Because even like my parents like got something out of it. They were like, "Wow, this is surprisingly deep for like a Pixar movie." I was like, "Yeah, they're straight up talking about death and having a meaning for life." Like, it's crazy, dude. Main character is
Yeah.
literally like depressed and is like obsessed with like, I have to play music. That is my one thing I'm good at. I have to do that, even though like he's a teacher and he's really good at teaching. He's impacted his students greatly, but he's really obsessed with like my career is music, and so it's like a difference in like what you're good at versus like what your purpose is, and it's honestly very impressive how deep a kids movie can be. And you know what? If it teaches a good lesson, it's all it's really got to do, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what about
Yeah,
Toy
like
Story? Like, objectively, like, what's the lesson in Toy Story? I'm joking.
you value your friends.
Yeah, Woody is an
But
asshole
like
to every.
Woody was honestly an asshole to everybody, like in the first movie. He was just
Yeah.
like, screw you, Buzz, I hate you. But I'd say like I'd say like if you have like valid criticism for like children's media, I think that is possible to
Yeah.
criticize it
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
after I saw like Raya and the Last Dragon, I watched like a YouTuber. I'd never seen him before. I actually don't
Mm.
even remember what his channel is. But like he kind of like criticized like the main message of the movie.
Mm.
Because like if you haven't seen it, basically it's like, oh, don't judge people like straight away, like and like stereotypes are bad kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's also like a plot line running through it where like um the main character has like a rival, and she did something like really bad to her as a child, and like seriously bad, like
Mm.
awful,
Yeah.
and like at the end, they were like, oh, like forgive her and like trust her to like save the world, basically, but like. She doesn't really do anything in the movie to earn that trust or earn forgiveness. In fact, she does something really bad, like in the middle as well. So it's like she just, but like, yeah, and he was basically like, hey, if you take your kids to watch this movie, like, talk to them about forgiveness and the fact that it's not something that's deserved by the other person, it's something that's
Yeah.
earned. Because like the movie doesn't do a very good job of like showing her like earning forgiveness and earning trust again.
Yeah.
Because like basically like the thing that she did was like stab the main character in the back and like was
It's
horrible.
basically just teaching
Um,
kids like, hey, no matter how much you're abused by your friends or people you might dislike,
forgive them,
always
yeah.
forgive
Yeah,
them
that's
no matter what.
Because I mean, like, yeah, like the
exactly it.
story had a really good message about stereotypes and how like stereotypes can be wrong and like and people that are from like a different area or a different country than you like are just people, you
Yeah.
know? But like the whole point about like the rivalry between these two characters and like the end was not handled very well. And don't even
Oh.
get me started about like the mashing all the Southeast Asian cultures together because I have
That's yeah.
opinions on
See,
that.
that's a completely separate issue.
That's
But
a
yeah,
completely
Whole
separate
thing.
issue, and I
that's
have
a
opinions
Disney
about that.
problem.
Um, yeah, because they were all like, "Oh, it's Filipino culture," and I was like, "Oh wow, that's never really been talked about in like in Disney movies before." And then yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'd say like certain children's media can have like valid problems with it.
Yeah.
And like if you have problems with children's media that's valid and you can like express that without being like disrespectful, I feel
Well,
like it's
yeah,
fine to do
because I
that.
feel like
Oh, yeah, I agree.
there's a group of people who definitely are like, why do you care? It's a children's movie. It's like, well, you have to make sure
Yeah,
like
like
it's good for even children, though.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Because who do you think is going to be the ones growing up on these movies?
yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's like it's not like stuff for children doesn't matter because it's for kids. Like
yeah, like
it's
Incredibles primed us for Marvel. I'm just saying.
Disney knew what it was doing,
They
even though
really,
they weren't even.
yeah, Marvel wasn't really at their radar at the time, but like they
They were
knew.
playing the long game.
They were playing the long game, dude. But yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I totally agree. Like there's, criticism of children's media can be totally valid. Um I think it's just like there are just to tie it back to what we were saying earlier, it's not like there's some criticism where it's like, oh no, they're talking about certain things. They shouldn't do that because it's
Yeah,
a
that's
kids
dumb
movie.
criticism.
Yeah, that's
Which is dumb
I don't agree
criticism.
with that kind of criticism.
But I do fully agree with like criticizing movies when the message is handled poorly or certain things are,
Yeah.
done badly.
Like Spirit riding free, that's a oh God, that's
Oh,
a
that's
can of worms.
yeah.
Like
Like could have a whole podcast about that one.
what I
Yeah.
was gonna say earlier too is yeah, like with criticizing it, some people just aren't qualified to criticize things in general because
Yeah.
their
Yeah, some
word
people get way too invested.
their worldview is just very skewed in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Well,
I don't like it, so it's bad for everyone, basically.
I'd also say that like some people aren't qualified to criticize things because while they may have valid criticism, they get too invested in it. and they get like irrationally angry.
Yeah, the people who might have valid criticisms, but just like are super aggressive about it.
Yeah.
Like, touch grass, dude.
No, really though, like, like, and then it just like invalidates their point because it's like, dude, you're
like,
way
if
too
you have
aggressive
something
for
good
this.
going for you, don't ruin it by going crazy, okay? Like,
because there's definitely like there's a lot of very interesting criticism for popular shows and movies and stuff. You just have to kind of dig through some of the other less relevant criticism.
I mean, like, I mean, a lot of the TV shows like we liked when we were younger, I mean, they're obviously kids shows, but I could still watch them now and enjoy them, honestly, regardless.
Yeah.
And even like, I mean, we talked about Pixar, even a lot of, I mean, those movies for the most part are considered kids movies. I mean, but I enjoy them, you know. Like, I got back into Kung Fu Panda recently.
Oh, Kung Fu Panda is
such
so
a good
good.
movie.
First and second movie, really
The
love.
third movie sucks.
Third
though.
movie, I
hate
feel
the
like I need to
movie.
rewatch it because I watched, like, you know, movie reviewers I watch cover it, and they talked about it in a way where I was like, maybe I need to rewatch it, and like
Seen it twice. I
I
didn't
saw
like it
it
either
one time, like in theaters a long time ago, and liked like half of it maybe.
I think just to like briefly say what I think happened, I think they may have like gotten feedback that the second one was too dark and they overcorrected.
See,
The
that
second one was
that is
really dark.
it was much darker. The third one
Yeah.
goes back to like a comedic tone, like similar to the first one, but it's more comedic than the first one. I think.
Yeah, it was like a way less serious than the first one.
And I also one of the, you know, the critics I was watching put it in perspective of like he said like the time gap between the second and third movie, which I need to look up when these movies came out. Actually, hold up before I say this.
Ooh.
Kung Fu
Are you talking
Panda
like between when they
2.
released?
Yes. Fu Panda 3, 2016 and 2011.
Okay, so it was like 5 years.
Which is a very big time gap in terms of like people remembering the movie or like children growing up watching it. You're in like a completely different stage in your life in 5 years. So it's like I could understand them maybe a little bit more not going for dark again if they wanted to reach the wider audience again. After 5 years.
Because the second one was like really dark for a kids movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it like explicitly covers like genocide, which is like crazy. Like like that was like a bold move by the studio, honestly, but it really did work.
Like that is such a fantastic movie.
And Kung Fu Panda 1 came out in 2008. I was just looking at that. So
but I mean about the film series, so I really appreciate how like all three of them had like, oh, it's okay to be adopted, like your family is valid, like regardless. Cool. Like, yeah, that was like I think all three movies had a really good message. I just didn't really like the tone of the third one very much.
The tone
and, like,
was like it was a huge whiplash in the second one.
It was very much whiplash.
It felt weird, yeah.
And yeah, there were some like story directions that I didn't really like immediately sidelining the like Furious 4. Or Furious 5 rather. I missed
you
one.
X'd out
Forgot
fucking
Mantis.
I was gonna make a joke about Serpent, but it's
Viper.
Viper.
Mantis
That's
is like the dude. What do you mean?
No, Mantis is just fucking Joe Rogan, isn't he?
But like that was one thing that I just didn't really like because they just immediately were like, yeah, they're gone. I was just like, what do you mean? Stop.
Yeah, it is true. They didn't matter much after a while.
And I didn't like the villain either. He was just like nondescript evil.
What, are you talking about the third movie? Well, yeah, that was the jerk in the third movie, is that no one remembers him. And he just kind of exists, and like he's like, what the fuck? Like that's like literally the jerk of the villain in that movie, is that he's like big ancient evil and no one remembers who he is. So
that he was like insignificant.
Yeah, that was a part of the tone of that movie. So it makes sense that it have a weak villain because it was on purpose. But
Yeah.
the first one I think was kind of perfect in terms of like comedic tone and
Yeah.
like it was more comedic than the second one, and I think it did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Because
But
even
the
like
second one still had like
it's true,
jokes.
the
It just
second
wasn't
one
as
did
funny.
have a lot of jokes in it too, honestly. But
The villain in the second one, oh my god.
and then I also
he was-
relived
he
the
was
Shrek
done really well.
franchise too. That was interesting.
Okay, like with the Shrek franchise, they're movies that I really like, but I acknowledge they're not good.
That's an
Like-
interesting opinion. What are the movies?
I'd say like they're enjoyable to watch, but like
Oh, are
in
you
a
talking
weird
about in
way.
general, or are you talking about specific ones from them?
Oh, no.
I'd say
First
like
one is a fucking masterpiece, and I refuse to
no,
hear
first one's a
otherwise.
masterpiece. I'm not including that in like the list.
First
The
one
first
and
one is
second
like
one, I very much
Yeah.
Yeah,
enjoyed.
second one's really good.
Second one is
Um,
fine.
I love the second one, dude. It's fucking. It's
Like,
I like the
uh,
second one. It's nowhere near the first one, but that's like trying to compare like I don't even know, like God to a demigod.
I feel like they're close to the same level.
like gosh,
honestly.
what was it the fourth one that was like
Shrek
The third
Forever
where
After. That was the first.
no, I was like, was it the fourth one where he like enters an alternate universe
Yes, that was the
and
first.
yeah, like okay, I understand like people are like that one is horrible, but I like actually really
I mean,
like
it's better
it.
than the third one.
The third one, yeah, I'd say the third one is
Third
like
one's
honestly
so-
more
Third one
fun.
was
The third
definitely
one's
the
with
weakest one.
Arthur, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one where he goes
Yeah,
to like
that one's
college
kind
and
of-
kidnaps a college
Yeah, that
kid.
a little bit boring on the
Yeah.
boring side.
Boring, less funny.
Yeah.
Well, because it was like the premise was like Fiona's dad dies and
Mhm.
Shrek is the heir because he's Fiona's husband, but he doesn't want to be, so he finds Arthur, right?
Yeah.
And is like, take my place, basically.
Yeah, that's
Um,
exactly what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that one was interesting. The whole like segment where they find Merlin and he's like a drunk wizard. Like,
Yeah, third movie is just whatever. Fourth one, I feel like it wasn't memorable, but I felt like it was like whatever. Like I don't
I feel like
remember it, but
the most memorable thing to me was Fiona being a girl boss and like
that was
leading
the
the
thing.
like
That was the
rebellion.
thing in there, yeah. I feel like it was just kind of I remember that, but that's literally the only thing I remember. I remember like a chimichanga joke. That's
Well, because
literally-
I think it was like he gets sent to the alternate universe by Rumpelstiltskin because he like he's
Yes.
tired of fatherhood and wishes that
He's like,
like
I
stuff
wish
was different. And
I
then
could
like
go
he's
back.
like yeah, and then
Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin he's like, okay, I'm gonna send you to a universe where like you and like Fiona never got married or something.
Something
And then
like
it turns
that.
out that like people start like hunting down ogres. And then like she's like a rebellion leader, and to go back to his like home universe, he has to like get her to love him or something, or
Something
like
like
kiss
that,
her or
yeah.
something like that. I think it was he has to like it's like true love's kiss would send him back. So then like he spends like the whole movie like trying to like kiss her.
Yeah, I remember that movie just kind of being like, yeah, whatever. Shrek's getting another
haven't
movie
seen it in a long
soon, though,
time.
so maybe.
Yeah, is it like
They-
Elimination
they
doing
are?
it?
Uh,
I thought it was like they're rebooting the first one,
Elimination
right?
talked about it. I felt like I heard it
rebooting that?
leading up to that too. Yeah, Eliminate.
Oh,
You didn't? Did you never hear
no.
about
Yeah,
that?
no, yeah. When I heard
No.
Elimination was doing it, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, Elimination is literally the worst. They're doing the Mario Brothers movie. It's gonna be literally like their second most successful movie. All right, next to Despicable Me.
I mean, Despicable Me is like
I
pretty
think it's
decent,
fun.
but
I like Despicable
the
Me.
health fun that are minions are really an unfortunate.
I
side
felt like
effect.
I was okay with them in the first one, and then over time it was just like, stop.
No, like with Despicable Me, it's like I really liked the first one. I thought the
Yeah,
first
I
one was
liked the
very well
first one
done,
a
but then
lot.
the studio started milking its success. They were
Yeah,
like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody loves the Minions. The Minions
everybody
are the
loves
reason that
minions. They will be everywhere.
The minions are the things that people like.
not the found family and like adoption message.
It was
no,
so
the
cute. It
Minions.
was
Yellow
so
fellas.
cool. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a fun movie, but
Where
then
it's
they
like
were like,
evil villain
this
has
is
a
our
soft
money
spot for
for
Yeah.
like children.
these children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a cool idea.
and him trying to like raise them despite being an evil villain.
Like fucking
Yeah.
Megamind, dude.
Megamind was so good.
Okay,
like that
yeah,
one.
Megamind, unironically, very, very good.
Yeah.
Megamind was like a masterpiece, and I'm so
Absolute
glad that it
masterpiece.
never got like any sequels or anything. I'm like,
Yeah, it is a good standalone movie, I think. It's true.
yeah.
So, God, we like completely ignored the TV shows aspect of this, I guess. Cause
Should we talk about like canceled TV shows?
oh yeah, that was a topic you wanted to bring
Yeah,
up, so go
stuff
ahead.
that like shows that got canceled too soon.
What are we just listing out examples for this one? Like,
Yeah, I'd say so. Like your top shows that you feel got canceled
I
too
mean,
soon.
Symbionic Titan I always reference
Yeah.
because I loved that show, and then it got canceled, and it made me sad because I actively watched it.
The Thundercats reboot.
Thundercats reboot I thought was good. I watched it with my dad, and I feel like it was like one of the first times where he was just like pulled up the the recordings to like check if there's another episode. It was just like, wait a second. And I was like,
No.
because me and
No.
my dad watched like a few shows together. We watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dragon Ball, well, Dragon Ball Z specifically. We watched the Thundercats reboot. We watched all of Thundercats, by the way, because Thundercats is his favorite childhood cartoon. So we watched
Amazing.
all of Thundercats. He was very happy when I enjoyed it, by the way.
Yeah, the Thundercats reboot was actually good.
He liked when I liked the OG's show. So we watched the reboot together, and he did dig it. But yeah, it was sad when it got taken away. We watched Ben 10 together too, actually. That
One
like
of my
the
favorite
first
shows of
one
all
and
time.
Alien first we watched together.
Up to Ultimate Alien, it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, but Generator Rex got canceled too, right? So
Oh fuck, it
Think
did.
so.
No.
Yeah, it got moved. It got moved to like Adult Swim or something.
well, that's what happened to Symbiotic Titan too.
Yeah, it got moved to Adult Swim and then got canceled.
Yeah, it always whenever you know it's gonna get canceled, it gets moved.
They always move it to like a horrible like time slot. I think Generator Rex was at like what was it like 6 in the morning or something?
Oh.
Symbiotic
It was
Titan,
like
I feel
a really bad
came
time
on at like
slot.
fucking 1 a.m. or something. Like it was really fucking.
Because I
rough.
remember my friend Ashley, her dad really liked Generator Rex, and she said that he used to like stay up to watch like the new episodes in
That's
Adult
really,
Swim.
that's really funny. Actually.
But like the Thundercats reboot was one that I really enjoyed. That I was
you
really
always
sad
bring
to
up the
see
Green
go.
Lantern animated.
Yeah, the Green Lantern show, that was a crime.
Because that was
That
your
was a crime.
favorite.
But like the Thundercats reboot, there was like an episode that really like it still sticks with me. It's the one where like they're walking in the forest and they find those like little forest people. And their lifespan is 24 hours.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
That episode was so
I
fucked up.
do remember.
Like
that.
literally like so they're traveling through a forest and they find these little like forest elf people. And like there's this little kid who like really looks up to like the main characters and he's like, oh, you guys are so cool. And they all think he's adorable. But then he gets snatched by a bird. And like his family is like really like worried about him, and it's like several hours that he's missing, and he like finds his way back home, but he's an adult now,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's been like a couple hours, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, I've been missing for years, and they're like, what the fuck? And then like so he explains like, oh, we only live for like 24 hours, like sunrise to sunset. And then at the end of the episode, he's like an old man and he dies, and they like give him a funeral, and then they leave.
Maybe
And it
that's
was
why it was-
such a fucked up
maybe they
episode.
canceled
Oh my
it because they were
God.
like, no, this isn't for kids. You can't
Like
do
it was
this."
it was so like it was so deep, and they were like he had such a short life, but he had like a really big impact on us. And another scene that I remember was one where they were like hunting and like the kids like they're like helping them like set up a trap for like some animals, but then they trigger the trap because they feel bad.
Yeah,
They're like, no,
I
we
remember
don't want
that
to
too.
kill these
actually.
animals. But like the Green Lantern show, that being canceled was a crime. That was actually awful. At least they ended it, they allowed them to have like an ending. They didn't just like axe it. So basically it ends with like the characters save the day and there's one character who dies, but like there's another character who like loves her and he thinks that like she's still alive somewhere. because like she was like an android, I guess is the correct term for it. So he feels that she's alive somewhere out there, and he like flies off into like the horizon like looking for her, um, and that's how like the series ends. But like basically, there was like a conspiracy that like had quite a bit of weight that they canceled it because they felt that they weren't going to get enough toy sales because it started getting really popular with like teenage and adult women. Um, because like they're like Cartoon Network is like, oh, we make most of our money off of toy sales, and like
Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
and they were like, if it's more popular with like this demographic of like women and like girls rather than boys that we want it to be popular
No,
for, then we're not going to sell as many
Angela
toys.
was the reason why the show got canceled.
I can't believe that I caused this show to get canceled.
You
What the
single-handedly
fuck?
did that.
That's wild. dude.
Single-handedly, you fucking hate to
No,
say it.
I hated that show.
But,
I was a
like-
teenage boy, so.
No, yeah. You guys should have watched it. Maybe it wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
fucking stuck, mate.
that's just toxic masculinity. Masks, a toxic mask.
Toxic masks. The masks, man, they were really like, the green mask, the black mask they had, really toxic. I hated it.
Hated it.
You know, I am black and I wear masks, so.
Oh no.
Fucking mask off, mate, you know what I mean?
Now I'm white. I'm just I'm part white.
Wheeze that.
I'm part white. Okay. I did wheeze that because it was funny. And what time is it? Oh, it
It's
is
like-
about end time.
Yeah.
Anyone got any final thoughts on TV shows before we head out?
Static Shock and fucking Class
Yes.
3000, great shows that I don't remember much of.
You can watch Static
But
Shock.
I should, honestly. I should
On
go back and
HBO?
watch a lot of TV shows.
Watch that shit, dude. I talked about going back and watching Boondocks actually. 'Cause
I need to watch
I really
Boondocks,
enjoy
period.
that show.
The animation style of Boondocks looks really
the,
good.
the jokes in it were top notch. If you were black, dude, fucking you had to be there.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Had to be
Bitch,
there.
what
I
did
feel
you
like
say?
I feel like it's still funny even if you're not black. But if you just understand that it's like it's
I got
pretty
shown
good.
those clips with that dude recently, and I was like, damn, why have I not seen this show?
I feel like
ever?
it's aged very well, actually. I feel like more people would be able to enjoy it now than like ever before. So
These two black men are
Okay,
about to
wait.
have what is called a moment. They're
have a
scheming about
question.
shooting at each other.
yeah.
Because there was a scene that I saw from like a cartoon, but I don't remember if it was from Boondocks or not.
Okay.
There was like a character and he like breaks up with a girl because like he went to dinner with her family and the chicken wasn't seasoned enough.
That sounds like
That honestly sounds like a joke from Boondocks. I won't lie. It really does.
sounds like something from Boondocks or Black Dynamite. Like
Yeah,
pick it-
honestly. I mean, well, yeah. Boondocks very much like leaned into making fun of like black stereotypes very often. So,
Uncle Ruckus, man, shit.
yeah,
I did
it's super
honestly, you would
good.
think I would have watched it with my style of humor, but
Yeah, that if we okay, look, all right, I'm gonna go. Last thing I do before we end, I want to talk about favorite like adult shows because like shows that are specifically geared to adults. I will say,
Adult shows.
fuck.
I'm not sure I understand the definition.
like adult cartoons. That's
TV
obvious.
14 plus.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. But like I would consider like the like doctor shows like consider like adult like those shows. Supernatural I would also probably like
I'd
I don't
say
know.
early Supernatural. Early Supernatural was geared towards like adult men. But then
Yeah.
like as the show went on, they definitely leaned hard into like the teenage like girl
well, yeah, they
demographic.
knew
Yeah,
they
the
knew what
main
their
audience.
audience
They
was
knew.
at that
They
point.
knew their
Yeah.
audience.
They were on Tumblr. They were on the
But like
boards.
the early promotional material for like Supernatural was really like it's sexy and like masculinity. Like yeah, so
Yeah.
I'd say that's appropriate for early Supernatural, but not like the later seasons.
Yeah. I feel like yeah, How do you think it should be defined, Shawnee? I'll ask you
I
that.
don't know. I mean, if you're just talking about like shows that are like geared towards adults as the target audience, then
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like probably the majority of Star Trek.
I feel like Star Trek would
Yeah.
count too, honestly.
That's like
yeah.
geared towards like a young adult audience.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I could just name like a few off the top of my head, like Fringe. That was like a horror, I think, show.
I
Yeah.
remember Fringe. Yeah, I didn't
supernatural
watch
type
I
it,
of
but I
remember
show.
Fringe too, yeah.
That was kind of wild.
Fringe was very wild, yeah.
Torchwood was
Super
really
wild.
good.
Ooh, Torchwood. That's a great example.
Torchwood was definitely geared towards adults. Like that is not a kid
Yeah.
show.
I was thinking about adult cartoons actually in my mind. I feel like that's all the adult shows I watched, honestly.
Channel Zero as a show.
Is that for adults?
It's definitely not for kids. I can tell you that.
I feel like it's for older teens to young adults.
Like it's a old teens to young adults is what I feel like.
Because it's for like
very-
our demographic who are like
Mm-hmm.
remember like creepypasta shit.
But then again, I am an adult technically, so
That's why I said young adult, because we are young adults.
I'd say like for me, like Torchwood is probably one of my favorites. That's like hard, like adult, like that's like
Yeah.
no children should
I
watch
can
this.
name off very many adult like cartoons that I enjoy
like,
actually.
More recent shows, I'd say like the first season of like the Jack Ryan show.
Okay.
The second season wasn't very good. But I think I don't really tend to watch like a whole lot of stuff that's like, well, I'd say HBO's Rome was really good, but I watched that for a class. So like I didn't watch that of like my own
Like
volition.
I watched a lot of like King of the Hill when I was younger. A lot of like Boondocks we brought up definitely. Futurama we talked about earlier.
course,
That is
Futurama.
one that definitely.
Yeah, I
comes to
watched that a
mind.
lot as a kid. But that's definitely like an adult show.
Yeah. I mean, all these are everything on Adult Swim. I pretty much watched, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
liked American
never
Dad when
really
I was younger
liked-
too, actually. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never really liked like adult cartoons. I know my dad, he really liked Archer.
Yeah, Archer's one that's very
yeah.
popular as well. Bob's
he
Burgers I
didn't- he liked-
appreciate actually.
He told me that he liked the early seasons of Archer but didn't like the later ones.
Okay, yeah.
But
Adult cartoons are fucking great, dude. It's honestly. You just gotta find the right one, honestly.
Yeah.
But they range a lot, honestly.
like they have a lot more freedom of like what they can do.
It's true, and that's what I appreciate about them. Adult
Yeah,
Swim
that's
had a
why
lot of wacky stuff on their block, so
I really liked Futurama because they could just go fucking hog wild with
yeah,
like there's plot lines and just the stuff that happens in them, and I just love that.
yeah. It's kind of weird, I guess, that we were kids watching adult shows, but hey.
Oh no. Yeah. I watch many things that children should not
Yeah,
have
the
watched.
same
Like,
here.
I think
Yeah.
I think I watched Torchwood when I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So I
watched
wasn't like
episodes-
terribly young, but
I watched episodes of Torchwood much younger, and yeah,
oh, there
some
were
of
some
them did
episodes that
give me
were very
nightmares.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like there was one episode where they find like an alien that kills people through like having sex with them. And like you like disintegrate when
Forgot
you
about
like
that.
have an orgasm.
Oh!
They like showed it. They like watch a dude on like closed circuit television, like in a bathroom, and he just like died.
That's really funny to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Torchwood.
It was funny, but in like a bad way.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus, dude. Holy
It was so funny.
I mean, I will say,
but-
I don't know if it's specifically geared toward adults. Well, I mean, young adults, kind of. Yeah, I mean, the comedy and like the first scene of Dragon Ball Z I saw when I was a child was Goku dying,
No.
and I was like definitely too young to see that.
I think
But it did lead
I'm
to me
trying to think
loving
of-
that series. So I mean,
oh, something I watched when I was definitely too
Charlie's
young
Angels.
for it.
Totally Spies. That was our Charlie's Angels.
Basically, but like something I watched when I was too young for it was the movie of like the Beowulf movie.
Mm.
That
we
was like
talked about
weirdly
that, yeah.
sexual. And like after reading the actual like epic poem, I was like, why did they do that? Like they made it so weird.
Artistic interpretation.
You learned early that the movie does not have to be like the, the story.
And like I think the scene that really like messed me up was like after he fights Grendel and kills him, they put his like they like mount his arm on like the mantle of like the
Yeah.
hall. And like I don't remember if this was like a dream or if it actually happened, but like the camera like slowly like pans into the arm and it like twitches and like jerks and stuff, and I was like,
I you've mentioned that story so many times. I feel like that's definitely on another NOGcast.
No, that messed me up. I also watched I Am Legend way too young.
I did watch that when I was very young. It's
Is that the
true.
one
watched
with the
all of
zombies?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Yeah.
Will Smith
Yep,
fights
yep.
zombies. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that one kind of fucked me up. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Watched
kind
all
of
the
fucked
Friday
up.
the 13th movies. Nightmare on Elm Street movies too young, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Although
fair as well. I was afraid of Chucky for a long time after seeing the first Chucky movie.
I've never
Bro,
seen
I
that
watched the
movie.
original. No, I watched Ring 2, not even the original Ring. I
Oh,
watched
God,
Ring 2,
okay.
and that shit. I watched that at like I remember because I watched that at 11. I was at my cousin's house, and she wanted to really watch the movie, and she's like, she was a year younger than me, and she really wanted to watch the movie, and I was like, you know, I'm a fucking coward. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
But I didn't say it in those exact terms, but you know, it is what it is. But she was like, you can have popcorn, and we'll watch it, and I was like, bet, because I'm fat, so I like popcorn. So like, I got some popcorn. We went to go watch the movie. We got about halfway through before we had to shut it off. We couldn't watch no more. It got to the point where we were scared to go to the bathroom by ourselves.
It's not, yeah, I had a very long phase, and it even affects me sometimes now. Where like if it's late enough because I can't sleep, I have like fucking insomnia. I like sometimes like my brain, like my imagination will wander, and like when I'm walking through my house, I'll just be like look around. I'm like, was that a? Nah, that was just my imagination. And like sometimes I open the bathroom and I see the shower curtain, and I'm like, okay, we're seeing.
I could tell you the exact scene that fucked me up. It was the scene where it was one of the girls that was in the house. She was with her boyfriend. They were in a hotel about to have the sex, as you do in Japan, and she was like
Only
on the
Japan.
bed, you know, laying back, and like, you know, she was feeling a little bit of something underneath the blanket. She was like, "Ooh, stop it! You know, we got to get ready for this." And then she like hears him. It's still in the shower, and she's like, "What?" But wait, who's underneath the blankets? Pulls up the blankets. It's fucking Sudoku, just fucking right there, just fucking murdered her, and then like it just screamed, cut the black, and me and my cousin were just like, ah! As children.
Honestly, yeah, you know, the reason why I'm less affected by horror movies now and way more, like, extremely more affected by horror games now is probably because of the shit I was afraid of as a child. Like, seeing all like horror movies as a child. Now I see horror movies, like newer ones, and I'm just like, it doesn't really faze me. Like, cheap jump scares, I'm like, they might make me jump, but they don't really scare me. In video games, like because of the like interactive aspect, I will always be scared. It will always get me, no matter how shit the game is.
There was
Yeah.
like there was like this one thing that like I got shown in school actually that like fucked me up. It was I think it was in middle school. It was like a middle school history class. Like I think it was American history. And we were talking about like World War II and like dropping like the atom bombs. And our teacher showed us like that one like Japanese like anime about that. That's like super graphic.
Yeah.
And like
Oh god. Oh
you
no.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, she showed us that in middle school. I was fucked up,
my
dude.
god.
Like literally, I mean, it's a longer like anime,
You
but
could see the shadows, man. Shit.
yeah, showed us a clip of like when like the bomb gets dropped because I think like it has like an opening where it's like, oh, like it follows like this little boy and like he has a mom and like she has like a little like brother that's like on the way and like he's like out with his friends and blah blah blah, and then like they drop the atom bombs and he survives, but like his family dies. And like, but like she showed us like only the clip of like the atom bomb being dropped.
Oof.
And like there's a bunch of like really, really like seriously graphic depictions of people like melting, and like there's like one that really like fucked me up was like it's like a dog that gets like obliterated and like it bites onto like a fence and it like melts. And it's so graphic, and I was really surprised that like she showed us that in like middle school. I was like a little
Yeah, that
baby.
makes sense.
In middle
Christ,
school.
you unlocked that memory in me, Angela. I hate you.
To a lesser degree, I remember that clip I showed you, Angela, of like people made fun of it being like, "Oh, it's like Club Penguin," where it like depicts the Vietnam
Oh,
War.
the Club Penguin like Vietnam
It
War
wasn't
thing.
Club Penguin. It was completely
No,
unrelated.
it was a very similar art style.
But yes, it was like penguins in like the Vietnam War,
and they have to leave behind.
They
one of
depicted
these-
like leaving behind
Oh
a
my
soldier who's getting like mowed down by bullets.
No, because like yeah, he gets like mowed down, and like the main character like drags him to like an evac, and but they have to take off because they're taking fire. So he can't get him onto the helicopter, so he's like holding onto him and like drops him from the like helicopter, and it's so fucked up.
Oh my god!
And it's like
Oh,
an
dude.
adorable little Club Penguin looking penguin.
Leave it to Japan to keep it real though. Like they're like, we're keeping it real over here. Okay. Oh my god! But I feel like that's a good place to end the
Let's
episode.
end on this
Let's-
graphic
let's
cartoon.
End on this note. Look, we talked about TV shows. It works. It works. But hey, look. If you enjoyed this episode of NOGcast, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, ring the bell, or we'll leave for another month. Hey, and so
Leave a comment down below on your favorite TV show and your favorite moments from it, and maybe even your least favorite TV shows and your memories from it, you know? Leave some comments, see what happens.
yeah,
Did you
look,
just
Angela
say your
might
famous
respond.
famous from it?
he did say that, yes. But look, yeah, you know, if you hate a TV show, yeah, just rant about it. You know, I'm expecting paragraphs down there. All right.
If you watch something that fucked you
give
up.
us a hint about your least
a
favorite.
whole essay, but thank you all so much for watching NOGcast. With that, my name's Julian.
And I'm Angela.
My name is Shawnee.
And now I'm Micah.
And it's been NOGcast. Talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.